Promise me you'll marry me in the future. All right, back in elementary school, a childhood friend said these things to me. Even as an adult, I can still clearly recall what she said. In high school, we started dating, but after a fight, we broke up. I've been unable to forget my ex-girlfriend for 20 years, despite that. Reunited with her as if by miracle, for whatever reason. My name is Henry. I drive a long-haul truck. I distribute things all throughout the nation, often spending up to 2 weeks away from home. I kept up this sporadic work after high school, frequently spending the night in my truck. Before I realized it, I had grown to the age where an increasing number of my coworkers and school friends were getting married. When I eventually see my colleagues after a lengthy travel, they frequently question, "Aren't you going to get married?" I smile sarcastically in response, "I'd like to, but, well." Then a coworker might ask, "What's up?" with a worried expression. "Is there a problem?" "No, it isn't significant." I answer, "Don't worry about it." After telling my coworker that, I got back in my truck. My worries could not be lovingly shared, not even with a close colleague. Although I do want to be married, even after all these years, there is someone I will never forget. That individual used to be my high school sophomore girlfriend. Ashley and I broke up in high school, and it's been 20 years since then. We haven't seen each other since. I am aware that despite everything, my dream to marry Ashley is pointless. Besides, I'd be the target of jokes among my coworkers if I spent 20 years pining away for a high school sweetheart. I am aware that Ashley and I cannot be married. All the same, Ashley comes to mind when I hear the word marriage. I still can't get over my affections for Ashley, even after we split up for 20 years. Ashley was an elementary school buddy of mine growing up. Our parents were close friends, and our houses were close together. Every day after school, we would play together or work on our homework. It was a given to get together after school or during holidays. Playing and going to each other's houses was just a regular part of our days. Ashley and I connected on a deeper level than just being friends. Ashley and I were in 3rd grade at the time, and it was springtime. The elder cousin of Ashley got hitched. Ashley showed me pictures of her cousin Ashley wearing an all-white bridal gown. The pictures enchanted me by capturing a wonderful universe. Ashley hesitantly asked, "Promise me you'll marry me in the future, okay?" While I was enthralled with the pictures. At Ashley's remarks, I swallowed without thinking. The thought of Ashley wearing a stunning wedding gown made my heart skip a beat. Startled and unsettled, I was at a loss for words. Our days then resumed with homework and after-school activities. Even in the far future, I thought we would always spend our days together. But suddenly our quiet lives were disturbed by a tragedy. In a car accident during our 5th year of elementary school, Ashley's father passed away. Ashley and her mother both withdrew after that. I attempted to make her feel better by saying, "Hey, let's play together today," but all she could say was, "I can't today." I felt depressed and alone, asking myself, why won't Ashley play with me? Ashley is grieving the loss of her father, who was the pillar of their family, my mom continued. For now, give her some room. That makes sense. Ashley's father genuinely lived up to his role as the family's pillar. He was exceptionally trustworthy and caring. Ashley's father took the initiative to set up the camera and prepare the meal at the sports festival. It makes sense that Ashley would be anxious given that her father vanished out of thin air. I kept being mindful of Ashley every time we crossed paths at school. "I apologize for requesting that you play the other day." I said, "I didn't know you were depressed." Ashley grinned and replied, "It's all right." When I did. "It's difficult right now, but when I feel better, let's play together once more." Even though I didn't see Ashley every day anymore, I still made an effort to be available for hangouts on her schedule during breaks. "Are you okay?" I kept asking her every time we got together during breaks. "How are you doing?" Ashley would constantly say, "Yeah, I'm fine," and smile. However, I noted that occasionally her smile seemed forced, and other times it was sincere. It would be difficult to mend the emotional wounds following the death of her father. I could tell this merely by observing her facial expressions quietly. Ashley and I eventually went to the same middle and high school. In our sophomore year of high school, I informed Ashley that I liked her, but I waited until her sentiments had calmed down. She was a big part of my life. I had watched her struggle when her father passed away and loved her from a distance for years. I was ecstatic and thought I was the world's best when Ashley and I started dating. Happy to laugh, Ashley said, "I never imagined I would actually date Henry." "Neither am I. Dating you feels like a dream," I smiled in response. While things were going well in our relationship at first, something else happened that would impact us both at the same time. Shortly after her mother's second marriage, Ashley and I began dating. I'd heard that her new spouse worked with her mother's company. Since her husband's passing, he had been her mother's supporter. He seemed to be supporting Ashley while she was having a hard time, just like I was. I reasoned that Ashley's mother and herself must have been just as devastated by her father's passing. What mattered most was that they find a happy ending and someone to rely on. I was there to support Ashley through all of her struggles as her boyfriend. I wanted very much to love her even more from now on. But it appeared that Ashley's mother's new spouse held opinions that were very different from mine. Ashley's mother's new spouse, Tom, was an avid gambler and drinker. Soon after the marriage, he left his work and turned to gambling full-time. After the marriage, Ashley's mother became a housewife, and he began to demand money for gambling. He would get grumpy, throw things, and yell if she didn't give him money. Ashley's living circumstances quickly got worse as a result. Ashley appeared thin when I first met her over spring break of our sophomore year in high school. "Are you okay?" I said, but all she did was look down. Ashley abruptly raised her face, scowled at me, and began to complain quietly. "Hey, how about we get together more often? Why is the same cafe where we meet every time?" Her unexpected remark surprised me. However, wouldn't it be wiser to focus on exam preparation right now? In addition, we're students and don't have a lot of money, I said. She became enraged and started expressing her long-held anger right away. "We always use the excuse, we're students, we don't have money. How much longer must I put up with you, this aimless person?" After hearing Ashley's comments, I was certain that I lacked maturity in many romantic areas, and I found it difficult to fully comprehend her emotions. I wanted to make her happy in the future, so I gave exam preparation top priority. I'm just a healthy teenage boy going through puberty, to be honest. I'm keeping a lot of things to myself because I believe they will be for the future with Ashley. I'm therefore restrained myself. She was my first in everything, and since I value her so highly, I felt that I shouldn't hurt her anymore. I had no idea that I was causing her to withdraw that much. It would only make her unhappy to stay with me. For the benefit of both of us, let's break up. This was a big choice for me. Ashley cried bitterly and questioned, "Why are you leaving me like this?" We eventually broke up and continued our high school careers apart, entering our final year. However, she had left the school. I went to her house out of concern, but it didn't look like anyone was home. A few days previously, over spring break, we had split up. I was clueless as to her whereabouts at this point. "Hey, are you aware of the rumors surrounding your former girlfriend?" That's what a friend who shared this experience with me said. They appear to have escaped to her mom's family house after her mom's new spouse had gambled away all of their money. My friend told me this, and while her home phone and cell phone were unreachable, it worried me about her. Naturally, I was also unaware of the location of her mother's family's house, including both its address and phone number. Though I truly regretted our split, it was too late to look back. With a heavy heart, I plunged myself into my current profession after high school. For the first time in years, a coworker asked me out for drinks one day. Normally, I don't go out to drink, but for my colleague's birthday celebration this year, I made an exception. The downtown area was crowded with people on this Friday. Abruptly, I saw a woman in a pub, holding a menu and shivering like a puppy. She was trembling in just a short-sleeved shirt, even though it was November. Upon closer inspection, I realized the woman was none other than my 20-year-old ex-girlfriend, who I assumed was in trouble. I didn't even need to look aside to run over to her as soon as I recognized her. "What's up?" my coworkers said as they followed me, curious as to what was going on. "Ashley, are you right?" "Long time no see," I panicked, fearing that I could have said it incorrectly. With wide eyes, she exclaimed, "Henry, really? Do you know her?" "Let's not just chat all day. Let's enter this bar," she exclaimed with joy. My coworkers went into the pub where she was employed. Until we were seated, we awkwardly rode the elevator in quiet. My coworkers made fun of me by asking, "So, what's the issue with her? Merely a friend or something more?" They chuckled. Despite the jokes from my coworkers, I said quietly, "She's an ex-girlfriend from 20 years ago." That was when my coworkers became numb. "How come? 20 years prior. At that time, what was your age? It's awkward for us now as well. You ought to have spoken out before we went inside." "It was you guys who hurried in before I could give an explanation," I remarked, getting angry at my coworkers. Ashley came up to take our order just as I was becoming mad at my coworkers. "Have you decided on your order?" a coworker blurted out. "Then, let's have a single batch of beef burgers. I'll eat stewed beef and a pint." He also placed an order for me, saying, "This guy will have the beef burger set and a cocktail." I said, "There's no need to decide for me." "Well, we feel more uncomfortable about it," my coworker said. With a laugh, Ashley stated, "It's all in the past. Don't stress over it." She returned to our table after receiving our order. It's Friday, yet there's not as much activity as usual. Thus, take this as a special. Ashley went on to explain why we hadn't seen each other in 20 years and the circumstances behind our breakup. Yes, exactly as my friend had described it. Her mother was regularly pressed for money by her mother's new husband, an unemployed gambler. After a while, her mother had been telling Ashley, "Someday while he's asleep, let's run away," and until her savings ran out. It appears that they were packing their things in secret in order to flee her stepfather. It hurt so much that it was becoming apparent that we would break up. She admitted, tears running down her cheeks, "I said horrible things because I wanted you to dislike me." My coworkers, who were paying close attention, were shocked but remained silent as I gave her a wordless hug. I answered, "If breaking up was difficult for you, you ought to have told me that." However, I was unable to be open about how I felt. I was also unable to abandon my mother. Since I was still a child, I couldn't make the right choices. I apologize for expressing anything that upset you. After that day, we started seeing each other again, she retorted. Because he was stealing all the money at the time, and I wanted to help my mom, who was crying, I was unable to resist him. My final choice was to choose between my parent and my partner. "Is your mom okay now?" she asked, her smile bitterly put down. I answered, "It took some time, but things are finally calmed down. So let's make our time together a priority going forward. Up until now, you have prioritized your parents. It's time to make up for the time you two lost together." She was taken aback. "Are you getting back together after 20 years? Are you certain about me?" "I haven't stopped thinking about you for a single day in the past 20 years. To be honest, I never thought I would love someone as much as I did. Are you going to date me once more?" I inquired. She silently nodded while shedding tears. 20 years passed, and we rekindled our romance. I want to appreciate this time and think about getting married. We had both long prioritized our families and jobs up until this point. I'm hoping that we can start making our time together a higher priority because of this. I am so happy that the marriage I had nearly given up on with my partner is suddenly getting closer. I couldn't let go even after we split up, and I'm still working hard to be married to her now.